If you spent 10 years in a wheelchair, never once standing up, you wouldn't be surprised when your legs refuse to work. You wouldn't call yourself lazy for not being able to run a marathon. You'd call it what it is: atrophy. Your muscles withered because the biological signal to keep them alive, resistance, was gone. But here's the scary part. Neuroscience has confirmed that the exact same thing is happening to your brain right now. Most of you think you have a motivation problem. You think you're just naturally procrastinating, or maybe you're burned out. Nah, bro, that's the lie. You aren't lazy. You aren't broken. You are injured. You have spent the last decade trapped in a comfort wheelchair, a constant drip feed of cheap dopamine, endless scrolling, and zero-effort entertainment. Because of that, a specific physical part of your brain has withered away. Today, we aren't talking about productivity hacks. We're talking about rehab. We're going to look at the Lotus Method through the lens of elite neuroscience to rebuild the one organ that separates the NPCs from the operators. Buckle up. We're going to the gym. Here is where 99% of people get stuck. They think discipline is a personality trait. They think you're either born with that David Goggins gene or you're not. So, what do? You wait for motivation. You wait to feel like it. That is backward. Waiting for motivation to do hard work is like waiting to feel strong before you lift a weight. You don't get strong, then lift. You lift to get strong. The ancient Eastern philosophers knew this. They called it the Pankaj principle. The lotus born from the mud. The lotus cannot exist without the mud. The result cannot exist without the resistance. But in the modern world, we've demonized the mud. We treat struggle like a system error. If it feels hard, we think something is wrong. Real talk. If you can't sit still for 10 minutes without checking your phone, that isn't a habit. That is a biological failure of your response inhibition mechanism. You are trying to run a marathon on atrophied legs. So let's look at the anatomy of why you quit and how to fix it. Meet the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, or AMCC. Scientists recently, and I'm talking cutting-edge research here, identified this region as the potential seat of willpower. Here's the raw data. In studies of people who are obese or stuck in low-agency habits, the AMCC is physically smaller. In elite athletes and super-agers, people who keep their minds sharp into their 80 seconds, this region is massive. But here is the kicker. It's the only variable that matters. The AMCC acts like a bridge between your primal emotional center, the amygdala, and your motor cortex, action. When your amygdala screams, "This is boring, check Instagram," or "This hurts, quit," the AMCC is the muscle that steps in and says, "No, keep moving." Here is the neuroscience of the lotus. The AMCC only exhibits neuroplasticity. It only grows when you do things you do not want to do. If you love the gym, going to the gym doesn't grow your AMCC. If you love ice baths, the ice bath doesn't grow it. It requires friction. Every time you look at a difficult task, feel that chemical spike of, "I don't want to," and you do it anyway. You are physically adding neurons to your brain. You are building the lotus out of the mud. Every time you scroll away, you are shaving neurons off. You are casting a vote for your own weakness. Okay, so you're atrophied. Your AMCC is weak. How do we rehab this? We don't do it with affirmations. We do it with progressive overload. We are going to gamify your suffering. Here is the 3-step system to train discipline like a muscle. Stop trying to wake up at 4 a.m. if you can't even stay off your phone on the toilet. You need to start with light weights. Identify micro-frictions. These are tiny moments where your brain says, "Meh, the water isn't cold enough? Drink it anyway." Want to check your texts? Wait 60 seconds. Want to leave the dishes for later? Wash one plate. You aren't doing this for the dishes. You are doing it to send a signal to the AMCC. You are getting your reps in. This is the moneymaker. About 15 to 20 minutes into deep work, you will hit the wall. This is that physical itch, that agitation, where your body physically rejects the boredom. Most people quit here. They tab out. They grab a snack. When you hit the wall, I want you to freeze. Don't work, but do not distract yourself. Just sit there. Stare down the barrel of the boredom. Feel the agitation. That burning sensation? That's the mud. That is your AMCC screaming for resources. Hold that state for 2 minutes. Let the wave pass. Then, return to work. You just hit a personal record in willpower. The legendary Muhammad Ali was once asked how many sit-ups he does. He said, "I don't start counting until it hurts." When you are absolutely done for the day, when your brain is fried and you're ready to crash, do one more thing. Read one more page. Do 5 push-ups. File one more email. This destroys the "I can't" narrative in your subconscious. It proves that your energy reserves are a lie. You always have 40% left in the tank. Look, here is the uncomfortable truth I need you to internalize. The world is designed to keep you weak. The algorithms, the food, the entertainment, it's all engineered to bypass your AMCC and hijack your dopamine loops. They want you to be an NPC, predictable, docile, atrophied. The Lotus Method isn't about being productive so you can make more money. It's about identity shifting. When you train this muscle, you stop being the person who negotiates with themselves. You become the person who acts regardless of how they feel. You stop fearing the mud. You start eating it for breakfast. Because you know that on the other side of that friction isn't just a completed task. It's a stronger, more dangerous version of you. Discipline is not a gift. It is a biological structure. You have the gym routine. You know the science. The atrophy ends today. I want to know who is actually going to do this and who is just watching for entertainment. If you are committing to the one more rep rule this week, if you are ready to train your AMCC, drop a lotus emoji in the comments right now. I'm going to be scrolling through and checking who the real operators are. Don't let the mud drown you. Use it to grow. I'll see you in the next one.